Yo guys, what is going on? Got some BT5 gameplay for you guys. I'm playing LordKnightmon on the left over there. You see I've got the Starmons in the breeding area, and then I played a Kodamon for a turn. This deck is just absolutely fantastic. I don't know if I need to explain how powerful and just why this deck is so good, but you basically just have spam abilities, so much removal, and it's just so dang consistent with your cards like TK and your searchers like Kodamon, Pulsemon, all that sort of stuff. I'm playing against, you saw the Zudamon, but so maybe it's not obvious what I'm playing against. I'm playing against a security control deck, a very, like, mixed color. He's playing, like, blue, red, yellow, and black, I think, so lots of colors in this deck. You see he hatched the one Digi-Egg after I passed my turn with the Pulsemons there. He's got the one copy of Koromon. Basically, you're not even evolving over it. You just play it so that you can get a color on field so that you are guaranteed the ability to activate red option cards without having any other sort of, cards on the field. So I think that's a really nice strategy. And then Zudamon, of course, is just a nice draw card. So then I'm going to swing with Pulsemon. Izzy is going to activate, revealing top 3, and then basically you get to stack those cards in any order. Now, you're not going to gain the memory off of Izzy's effect, because basically you're never going to get all black cards in this game, but it is really nice just for filtering through cards. So I'm going to swing into security again there, and then run into a Gaia Force, killing one of my Pulsemon. Digivolve into the Pedomon, and then Digivolve into the Knightmon to pass turn, leaving my opponent with 3. We're just going to see Magna Angemon played, putting my opponent back at 3 memory, and me starting with 4. I'm going to bring out the Knightmon, and then go into LordKnightmon, the man himself, for 3 memory, and then swing with LordKnightmon, and then play a Bushi Agumon, and then reveal a Omnion Zord defeat in security, which is really, really unfortunate. So Zord defeat actually doesn't battle with my LordKnightmon, so she does survive, but basically we're just going to see Zwart played for free, and then I'm going to go into Valder Arm after that, and then blow up his 2 Digimon, leaving him with just the Zwart defeat on field. So if Zwart does want to crash into the Valder Arm, killing it, I'm totally cool with gaining 3 memory. And with only 2 security left, my opponent is now basically forced to play either a Magna Angemon or a Magnadramon for turn. Either that or a Gaia Force me, which would basically like put me at 10, I feel like. Well, if he just did it now, it'd put me at 6, but, so he needs to do something in order to prevent me from just killing him the following turn. So we're going to see an ultimate player. Forgot about that card. That card is really, really crazy, and it's been pretty prominent in a lot of security control decks. Because of, just the fact that it's such a powerful card, and such a powerful card against the LordKnightmon matchup. So we're going to see that played, clear my whole field, and then Digivolves the Valdarm back down into a Pedomon, and then I'm going to Digivolve in the breeding area into another Pedomon, and then potentially just, so we're just going to see a TK played for 4, looking at my security, getting to add 1 of those, and then I'm going to take LordKnightmon from that stack, and then get recovery +1, and then add her to my hand. So then we're going to see my opponent just swing with the Zwart defeat, run into a Knightmon there. He really doesn't have any fear of dying to anything except like a Valder Arm, but even in that case, a Zwart defeat is just so good, because then he can just get rid of anything on my side of the field for free, which is super, super crazy. So then I'm just going to start my turn by Digivolving into the Knightmon, and probably not going to go into Lord, so we're just going to see a Kodamon played for 3, and then adding 2 Warriors or Holy Warriors. So I'm going to take the Knightmon as well as the Gladymon. And now my opponent does only have 2 security, and then I'll have potentially 2 to 3 swings if I do have the Bushi Agumon, which I don't think I did at this point in the game. Anyways, my opponent is going to start with 3 because of Izzy, and potentially, it's kind of hard for security control to deal with just how aggressive LordKnightmon can be. You basically need to either wait until they have committed their field to Ultimate Flare them, or wait until they have a powerful Digimon field to Gaia Force them. Other than that, you're just playing the waiting game. So you see that he plays the Tai and Mat for a cost of 4, and then I'm just going to start with 3, go into LordKnightmon, and then I feel like I can't swing over the Zord defeat. The really unfortunate thing is that guy just stays on field, because like you don't want to attack over him, even though I can, but he'll just like kill something. So I'm just going to swing security and then play the Bushi Agumon, which was really nice, but then extremely unfortunate because we do see a Transcendent Sword played, preventing me from going for a game. So then putting me at 0 memory, I think the best play here would either be hard playing something else or just going into a blocker. This one at least plays around Ultimate Flare a little bit. If he does Ultimate Flare me, it'll only kill 1 Digimon instead of 2. But either way, he does have this Word Defeat, so that is also really nice for him. So LordKnightmon is currently only at 12,000, so if I do want to survive, I will have to block. But I was debating here because it potentially could be baiting me if he attacks and then I block and then he Gaia Forces my LordKnightmon or something, and then my whole field is just cleared. But I figured I might as well just block. I think that's the correct play. But we saw that Gaia Force thrown down fast, boy. Like he had no problems just getting rid of LordKnightmon. So I'm going to start my turn with 3. Digivolve the Kodamon, play the Pulsemon, draw a card, and gain a memory because I am at 3 security at this point, and then potentially just, so go into a Pidomon, go back to 0, and then I think hard playing something else would be fine here. Even if he Ultimate Flares me, I'm not, like, losing too much. I'll be put at 8, so I don't even care. I think the goal here is now just to, just swing security before he plays a Magnadramon or something, and then, as long as he's a 1, I think I can take this game. So I'm going to just play Gladymon, get the LordKnightmon from security, which was super fortunate, and then get recovery +1. Then we're going to see the Zwart defeat Unsuspend, who, by the way, does have security attack +1 because of the Tai and Mat right now. So at this point, I think the only thing that saves my opponent is a Ultimate Flare or something that can get rid of multiple Digimon on my side of the field. So maybe something like, or just a Magnadramon. So we're just going to see that played, which was basically my biggest fear. That's pretty unfortunate. So we're just going to see that played, and then he is going to get recovery +2, which is just so powerful. So now he is back at 3 security, and I've got 3 Digimon on field and only 1 security card left. So I'm going to go into War Growlmon for a cost of 3, going down to, I believe, 4 memory there, and then use -4,000 on the Magnadramon, go into LordKnightmon for 3, draw a card, and then swing at security, and then use LordKnightmon's effect to play a Knightmon from hand, giving the Magnadramon another -4,000, swinging for a check of 14,000, hitting a Lucamon, which is really nice. Thank God it was not like anything crazy like a Gaia Force or Ultimate Flare or anything. And then I'm probably just going to, I need to Digivolve a blocker or something, because he does have 2 swings. Like, he has game next turn. I either need to Digivolve a blocker or get rid of one of his Digimon, and the Magnadramon is at 2,000 right now. So I think I had just like a Starmons in my hand, so I think that might be the play. I'm going to swing security, go into Pulsemon, and hit an Eden's Javelin in security, which is really unfortunate. He does not have enough cards in hand to kill the LordKnightmon. I believe he had like 7 or 8. So that's good for me that he is only able to kill the Knightmon and not my strongest Digimon on field. And you see these Starmons in my hand there, so I could definitely just play that past turn, get rid of the Magnadramon, and then he would have 0 security left. And then I'm just going to swing Gladymon first, hit the Mistymon. Now putting him at 0 security, and then probably just playing the Starmons and passing turn, putting him to 5 because of Time Mat, killing the Magnadramon. So now my opponent could get rid of one of my Digimon with his Ward Defeat, but he would have to have ultimate, like, he'd have to swing with Ward Defeat over the LordKnightmon, crash, and then kill like something else, and then, you know, Ultimate Flare after that. Something to that effect, where he basically needs to clear my field because he is, I think the only blocker he's playing is Machine Dramon. You see he checks my sources there, so I'm pretty sure he has Ultimate Flare, because if he does de-Digivolve the LordKnightmon, it's going to go into Pedomon. He'll kill the other two, yes, but then I'll still have one attack to finish off the game. So this is a situation where it's kind of hard for security control to come back, because you just overwhelm them, and you know, if you're, you know, if you study the deck enough, you know what cards they're playing, and you can kind of figure out what their options will be at any given moment. He only has 5 memory, so it's not like he can activate multiple option cards in a turn. He's not going to be able to Gaia Force and Ultimate Flare or something like that. So he's just going to swing into LordKnightmon, use Ward Defeat's effect to blow up the Starmons, and then potentially see an Ultimate Flare here to save himself from losing. But first, I guess we're going to see an Izzy reveal the top 3. We see his Ward Defeat, a Transcendent Sword, as well as a Lucamon. I feel like, yeah, probably putting the Transcendent Sword on top, and then we're just going to Holy Wave for 6, and then Recovery +1. So that will also save him from game, and then I'm going to unsuspend my Pulsemon, and then draw a card off of the Patamon, but now I still think I'm in a very, very good position. Even if my opponent Magnadramons again, it won't matter. So then we're going to swing into security with the Pulsemon, hit a Transcendent Sword, and then Digivolve to Rurimon for 1, but with so much memory, I think I can just go back on up into a LordKnightmon, or potentially, you know, pave the way for a /Angemon play or something like that. You look at my trash there, it is so gigantic. Like, the grind game is definitely real for this matchup. It is a really tough one, for sure. So then I'm just going to play Pulsemon for a memory cost of 2, not draw a card because I do have 1 security, I believe, and then play a Gladymon, go to 3, and then check my security, and then there's not going to be anything I can add. And just like that, I am back at 3 Digimon in play. My opponent's got 0 security, 0 blockers. Even if he does Magnadramon, I still think I can be in, like, I'll be in a very good position to win the game. So with all of these factors considered, I don't think there's really any way my opponent can come back at this point. So I believe he is just going to scoop it up after that. So we're going to go game 2. So game 2, my opponent is going to make me start because security control does definitely want to go second. So I'm just going to Digivolve into my Starmons and then play a Pulsemon to just get a draw for free, which is really, really nice. And then my opponent will start with his 6 cards in hand as well as 3 memory, which is basically what you want to see. You want to be able to activate your removal cards like after your opponent's committed to the field. You want to be able to, you know, play your Tamers and not give your opponent a bunch of memory, so that's really nice. He's going to play the starter deck TK. That is a 2-cost one that gives all of your security Digimon plus 2,000 DP, I believe, which is pretty decent. And then we're just going to see an Eden's Javelin played for 6. My opponent will draw a card and then delete my Pulsemon there. Then after that, we are going to see, you know, me just keep my Digimon in breeding area, Digivolve the Pedomon, and then play another Pulsemon from my hand, and then Digivolve into War Growlmon for 3. And now my opponent will finally hatch his 1 Koromon, his red Digi-Egg there, and then we're going to see him play the Titan Mat for 4, which is a really, really nice counter pick because he saw that I was potentially going to go into LordKnightmon, and that is definitely bad news for him. So I think I was debating here whether I wanted to Digivolve into 6 or not, or bring out the War Growlmon or anything, because I won't be able to get the minus 4,000, which feels a little bit bad, but that's not like the biggest deal, honestly. I think the biggest deal for me was just giving my opponent an extra 2 memory to start the turn if I did go into a LordKnightmon. So I'm just going to swing into security with the Pulsemon, and of course I'm going to be punished because my opponent is going to play the Izzy. So now this guarantees him, you know, starting with 3 memory. He's going to stack his cards. We saw the Magnadramon, Magnangemon, so lots of recovery options. And then I'm just going to hard play the Unimon for 5. My opponent will start with 3. Regardless, I put him at 3, but even if I didn't, he would start with 3 because of Izzy. And then we're just going to see a Magnangemon played for 7, getting recovery plus 1. So then I'm going to finally bring out my War Growlmon, since now my opponent's got Digimon on field, and I figured this is a good time to use the effect and just start getting rid of stuff and attacking security. So then we're going to see my minus 4,000 activate from the War Growlmon there, and I'm going to go into LordKnightmon for 3. So the Magna-Angemon is at 2,000 currently, and then probably just going to swing, and I probably either have a Starmons or a Knightmon in hand to be able to just get rid of the Magna-Angemon outright, even though it doesn't seem like it's that like a huge deal right now. But I know he's playing Seraphimon and probably Valor Arms, so I really don't want him to have the opportunity to go on up into all of those really powerful Digimon, because I do not want to have to deal with the Seraphimon or a Valor Arm or anything like that. So I'm just going to Digivolve into Pedomon first, swing with the LordKnightmon at security, and then use her effect to play the Codemon from hand. And then reveal the top 5 and then add a couple of cards to my hand. I'm going to hit into Ty and Matt. He's just going to be able to play that for free, which is super unfortunate. But I guess I technically knew that was there because he stacked his deck with Izzy, but it's all good. So I'm just going to swing with that. And then I'm going to play a Knightmon for 7, deleting the Magna-Angemon, and then putting my opponent back to 10 because he will start with a +4 from the Ty and Mats, because I do have the LordKnightmon on field. So that's fine, I guess, because I do have 5 Digimon on field. We're going to see the Gaia Force come down first, putting my opponent to 2, getting rid of LordKnightmon, and then playing a Salamon for 4, putting me to 2, which is totally fine. I have plenty of cards in hand and plenty of cards on field, so I just need to keep up this pace and be able to push so that my opponent cannot come back from me, like either spamming the board or whittling down a security or whatever. So we also are going to activate the copy of Blinding Ray, trashing the top card of security, going back down to 1 after Digivolving LordKnightmon user effect, and then play a Knightmon from hand, deleting the Salamon, and then not going to get the recovery +1 from that because he had like 4 security. But then we're going to see the recovery from the Holy Wave, which is super annoying, just swinging into security and your opponent just like gets recovery +1, like basically like nothing ever happened. It's really, really strong. And then I'm just going to Digivolve into Terurimon, and my opponent will start with 7 because of Ty and Matt and Izzy, which is just so crazy. I can definitely see why a lot of these security lists are playing Ty and Matt now in the BT5 format, because just being able to start with 7, 8, 9, 10 memory is just so crazy, because now it makes it so that you don't have to pass turn when you activate an option card. You can like you saw the previous turn, you activated Gaia Force and then play the Salamon, which is really nice. So then we're going to see a Zudomon played, drawing 2 cards. It's still his turn because he is at 0 memory. Which is super cool because he just got the +2, so he definitely has some sort of removal in hand. I think what would really hurt here is either something like a Gaia Force or a Ultimate Flare, so we're just going to see the Gaia Force hit on the LordKnightmon, and then I'm going to start my turn with 8 memory, which is super cool, but I really need to do something about these. I need to play, like, this is why, another reason why I think LordKnightmon is so cool, because a lot of lists are playing like Mastamon and Zwart Defeat. I think Zwart Defeat is such a cool card, and that would definitely be really nice in this matchup, because I could get rid of the Ty and Mats, which would be super cool. I'm just going to Digivolve into Slash, kill his dude, and then play a Codemon. I've got 6 Digimon in play, so I think right here I was basically just trying to prevent him from going into Magnagmon, just by keeping him at 4 security and then, spamming the board as much as possible. And so now that I've got 6 Digimon on field, my opponent's got 4 security. Even if there's like one of those cards was a Gaia Force or something, I would still be able to game him most likely. So then we're just going to see a Mistymon played for 7, killing the Codemon, which is a little bit unfortunate. They do definitely expect you to go wide in these sorts of scenarios, so they do play cards to counter that. I mean, of course, we've seen Ultimate Flare already, but Mistymon as well. Then we're going to see a starter deck TK played for 2 memory. And then finally, to round things off, I'm going to start. Oh, I guess, yeah, it is my turn. So I'm going to start with 2 memory. And then, unfortunately, being at 2 is a little bit awkward because I probably, if I did have the LordKnightmon in hand, I'd have to like Blinding Ray in order to go into it. But I'm just going to swing with Slash, hit a Gaia Force, which is fine, I guess, because he'll be able to kill one of my level 4s, which is not like the biggest deal. But now it definitely does put a damper on things because I'm a little bit less inclined to attack with my blockers now that I don't have game on field. So even with 2 memory, I think I'll still be able to either just go into like maybe a Pulsemon or like play a TK, I guess. I think I was debating here whether or not I should play TK. My opponent will start again with 7 regardless because I do have the Slash on field, and then he does have the tie-in mats as well, so that will be really, really powerful. So I'm just going to play TK. Yep, my opponent will start with 7 regardless. I'm going to grab the LordKnightmon, and then now I'm guaranteed the 3 memory. I've got the Knightmon in the breeding area, so the next turn I can just bring out the Knightmon, go LordKnightmon without passing turn, and then just start swinging and doing some damage, hopefully. Now, my opponent does have 7 memory, so we might see an Eden's Javelin here, or we're just going to see a Magnadramon putting me to 4, recovering 2, and then my opponent will go back to 5, which is super unfortunate for me. So at this point, it's kind of hard for me to just continually hit his security. I think this is like my second or third LordKnightmon, so I'm definitely running out of resources. Like, there's only a limit to how much stuff I can do before I'm just completely out of resources, and he's just like destroying all my Digimon and you know, getting rid of everything, because I think I also either have 1 egg left or I might not have any left. Then we're going to see an Ultimate Flare, and when I hit that, I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna lose this game. I'm just going to go Valor Arm to clear his field. Because I did get rid of, I did subtract something by, I think, like 4,000 or 3,000 or something beforehand, so the Magnadramon was at that 7,000 threshold. But then we're just going to see a Machinedramon. He's going to Digivolve 2 of my Digimon, which is super strong, and leaving me with just 3 kind of okay Digimon on field. If I've got a LordKnightmon, that would be cool, but like I said, at this point I'm starting to run out of resources. So then I'm just going to go Gladymon for 2 in the breeding area, and then just Digivolve into a Knightmon, and then putting my opponent with 3, because I don't have a level 6, so we won't start with 7, thankfully. Then we're just going to see a Zwart defeat, Digivolve on the Machinedramon, which is super crazy, deleting my TK, so then now I will not be guaranteed any sort of memory during the next turn, and the Zwart defeat will also check 3 cards because he's got double tie and mat on the field. So I think I was really thinking here whether or not I should block or just let it go through. If I block, I do, you know, save myself 3 security, but then I'll also lose a Digimon, and he'll probably use like an Eden's Javelin or something to get rid of another one, and then at that point I probably won't be able to get rid of all of his security anytime soon. So I think I just lose here either way, but we're just going to block anyways, and then save myself the 3 security cards. And then lastly, we're going to see an Eden's Javelin deleting the Pulsemon and allowing my opponent to draw 1 card. I'm going to start, and now I've only got 2 Digimon on field. I do start with 6 memory, but I really don't know how much I can do, especially because he's got the Zwart defeat, and I don't really know how I can get rid of it super easily. So I'm going to just Digivolve the LordKnightmon for 3, checking my trash, I think, to just see how many, you know, copies of Knightmon and LordKnightmon I've gone through. I feel like this is probably my last one. And then we're just going to swing at security, and then use LordKnightmon's effect, debating on what to summon from my hand here. But I don't think it would matter either way, because I don't really, like, if I go into a Knightmon and then maybe like a Valdrarm or something, getting rid of this Zwart defeat would just not be good for me, because he'll just be able to blow up my LordKnightmon. We're going to run into an Eden's Javelin, and then the Eden's Javelin will just kill the Gladymon I just summoned from my hand. Then we're going to see a Valdrarm deleting the Zwart defeat and then deleting my Valdrarm. I'm going to gain 3 memory and then go back to 0 because of Valdrarm gets me 3 memory on deletion. So that's kind of cool. I cleared his board without passing turn, but still, if he drops a Magnadramon or another Magnadramon or something, I really am not sure I can just, you know, come back and get rid of his security. At this point, I think I've hit his security like so many times. That's the thing with this deck. Like, you can go through like literally like 10 security checks and still not win because of these plays, and you can just go Magnadramon and then recovery +2, and then it's my turn. But like I said, I'm just so out of resources, I'm not sure how much I can do with the cards left in my hand, but we'll definitely have to try. So we'll definitely see. He's checking my trash just to see again how many cards I've gone through. This deck is very, very grindy. Like, I think Security Control is not an easy deck to play at all. It is really fun though, but it's definitely not an easy deck. You have to like know the matchups very well, and you have to be okay with just going into the grind game and out-resourcing your opponent. So I'm going to Digivolve Terurimon, play these Starmons for 3, and then minus 2,000 on the Magnadramon there. And then just trying to, I guess, just hard playing stuff just to put pressure on the field might be an okay move, but I'm just going to play TK because he did pop the first one with the Zwart defeat. Grab this Slash Angemon, which is nice because now I can potentially get rid of the Magnadramon, but because if he Magnadramons me, then he'll, you know, like Lucemon, and then that'll just be so unfortunate, you know, being able to swing with the Magnadramon and then going Lucemon, and then, you know, just gaining like the recovery +1 off of the Magnadramon. That'll be like really bad for me. But anyways, so I'm just going to then Digivolve on up into the last Knightmon in my breeding area. He's going to swing Security, not using any effects off of the Magnadramon, so I guess he did not have Lucemon in hand, which is really fortunate for me, because if he did, he'd get another recovery as well as a 10,000 body on field, so that would be really bad in this scenario. And then we're just going to see a Transcendent Sword killing the Terurimon and then leaving me with 3 memories. So fortunately, at least I can't be memory choked since I did actually just play the second TK. I'm going to bring out the Knightmon, and then starting with 3, I can hopefully do something. I've also got that War Growlmon in my hand, so I'm going to go into War Growlmon, go for 3, Digivolve, or sorry, detach 2 memory, and then reduce him by 4,000, and then swing a Security. Hidden Eden's Javelin, of course I hit it in the Eden's Javelin. I've been hitting those all game, killing my Knightmon. And then going Slash Angemon to kill the Magnadramon, and then putting my opponent at 7 because of tie and match. So I did manage to clear his field. He's gone through a couple of Magnadramons. He's also at 4 security. So there may be a chance for me yet. And then we're just going to see a Transcendent Sword played for 7, killing the Slash Angemon, and then playing an Izzy for 4 cost, and then revealing a Seraphimon, a Transcendent Sword, as well as a Zwart defeat on this side of the field. So then we're going to see this Zwart defeat, and then the Seraphimon Transcendent Sword placed on top. And then I'm going to start my turn, hatch a Digi-Egg, and then potentially just Digivolve, start, you know, I think I'm actually kind of close to decking out, so I didn't want to Digivolve, but I think I might have to just to get, like, another body that I can attack with next turn. I literally think I have, like, 4 or 5, like, cards left in my deck at this point. Then I'm just going to play a Starmons, leaving my opponent with 3, and then we're going to see a Machinedramon played, and then I'm going to start with 10, I believe his play cost is like 12, I think, so I think I'm starting at like 9 or 10, but we're going to then potentially just swarm the field, I guess, but if he ultimate flares me, I just straight up lose, but I think I might lose anyways, so we're just going to see a Terurimon played for 6, so I think at that point I was like maybe playing around ultimate flare, because Terurimon's play cost is not, like, you know, it's higher than 3, and then I'm just going to end things off by playing a War Growlmon. Like, at this point, you just need to play stuff, and because I don't have any cards left in deck, like hardly any cards left in deck, I really don't want to draw out the rest of my deck. And then we're just going to see a Zwart defeat, Digivolve, and then checking the last 3 cards of my security because of the time mat. It just checks everything, which is really insane. And then we're going to see a Transcendent Sword for 7. Then I'm going to start my turn and swing with the Starmons. You got 3 security, so I'm going to swing into the Magnadramon, swing with the Patamon, swing with the Terurimon. So that is all of the security cards. And wouldn't you know it, I've got 5 memory, hard play Bushi Agumon for a turn, and then just attack for game. And guys, that is going to be the game. Such a crazy way to end such a grindy match. But what do you guys think of security control? Do you think this deck is tier 1? Do you think it stands a chance in the BT6 format? Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about these 2 decks. But anyways, that's going to be the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.